screams and laughs. That's all I'm going to do for 10 minutes. I am JPB. What a great night. We've got Dustin Cole. Woo! Come on. Give it up for Dustin. Yeah! Maybe another guy you might have heard of before. Bobcat Goldthwait's here. Yeah! Before we do any cameo, a couple house announcements I got to cover, all right? First, no heckling. And I say this for two reasons. One, sometimes it throws the comments off. And two, I just watched Bobcat eviscerate a heckler in the last show. So unless you want to storm out without your coat, just enjoy it and nod along, all right? Turn your cell phones off. Set them to vibrate. If you have the kind of job where you can't sit here for an hour and a half and watch comedy with regular folks like us, well, fuck you. All right? Number 3. Drink specials. There's buckets of beer. There's a cluck bucket. There's a Christmas drink. There's food specials. Take advantage of them. Because the more you drink, the funnier I am. All right? If you're drinking and eating appropriately, you're going to run out. You're going to want more. Can I borrow this for 1 second? Thank you for coming. And some of you will be able to refill your drinks with these blue candles. Turn this on, your waitress will come and bring you more drinks. You know, and no more pecans either. Okay, if you're eating and drinking, Becky, the bathrooms, bitch, no, I can't say that. She's a paying customer and I'm paid by the club, Becky. Bathrooms. Right back to that wall, take a right. There's a Lucille Ball for redheaded women. There's a Richard Pryor for black guys. Everyone else has to use the bucket in the parking lot that we reserve for Will. Good luck, there will be a line. You guys ready to laugh? Yeah. You ready? Becky, are we in this? We good? Okay, anybody celebrate anything tonight? Birthdays, anniversaries, divorces, woo-hoo! Circumcisions, woo, divorces, congratulations. You're on the market. How about Michigan? More applause. How about Notre Dame? Yeah. Buckeyes. Oh, they planted a flag and now our feelings are hurt. You know what I said? I was watching, I said, maybe you guys should have tried that hard the last 60 minutes. Now you're fired up. All right. I am JPB. Becky's choking on a pecan over here. I am JPB, and I travel around a lot, and I work with a lot of younger comics, and I learn a lot of things from them, which is really cool. I'm not to be joking. She always chokes on nuts. Hey, who's the comic up here? All right? I said no heckling. You disagree, all right. Now we're celebrating divorce. Congratulations. So I travel all around with these young comics, and they teach me things that I recently learned about daddy kink. Anybody know what a daddy kink is? Yep. Yep. Woo! Yeah. A daddy kink is where a boy or a girl is sexually attracted to a man who's significantly older than them. Okay? And I learned about this. I said, that sounds awesome. I am totally into that. Right? Yeah. But here's the problem. I can't find any hot 90-year-olds to see my life. All right? You thought, yeah. My wife's safe word is, by God, will you get the hell off of me? You older people in here, help me out here. We learned this in school. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And now we've learned that words are literally violence. Right? People weaponize words to hurt each other. Like, we can no longer say that someone entered the country illegally. We don't say that anymore because it's hurtful. What we say is they experienced an irregular border crossing. Becky, that's not even a joke. That's just a fact. Okay? And pedophiles don't want to be called pedophiles anymore.
But you want to be called Rob.
They want to Rob. They want to be called minor attracted persons. Now that is confusing to an old guy like me. I'm confused by that because I used to think I was anti-pedophilia. But now I'm like, who the hell is the government to sell some poor coal miner from West Virginia who they can love? Right? If Virginia's for lover, then West Virginia's for both kinds of lovers. There's two kinds. You all right? Right. And it goes on and on and on. We're always trying to change the language. It's like engineers, right? These really smart guys that build things like the flat bottom taco shell. Has anybody had a flat bottom taco shell?
Oh, yeah.
It is the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? But how bad were the olden days when the best thing you could have was sliced bread? I mean, it's crazy. But so flat bottom taco shells, engineers, really smart people, they shouldn't care they're making great things, but a company like SpaceX, you're not allowed to say that their rockets blew up. They rapidly, unexpectedly disassemble. And that makes it feel better, right? So what happens if you're like at dinner and your cousin comes over who just got out of jail and your grandma says, "Who invited the rapist?" You're like, "Well, Grandma, we don't say the R word anymore. He failed to obtain consent." And what about Jeffrey Dahmer? What about Jeffrey Dahmer? Can we call him a cannibal? No, that's hateful. We have to say he had an eating disorder. Now you guys all laugh at that, and that hurts his feelings because disorder means there's something wrong. What we have to say is he was nutrient diverse. It's a thinker, right? All right? And everyone feels better. I mean, not the guys that he ate, but everyone else feels pretty good about that, right? So what happens when you have words? And so words are bad, and we say, oh, the N-word. We don't say the N-word, we say the N-word. It's very confusing. But what happens when we have two words that start with the same letter that are bad? And I told this to my son, like the C word. Right? I told this to my son, and he said, "Dad, I can think of 50 words." And he starts rattling off all these words. And I thought, man, one, that kid is really smart, and two, that liberal arts college that I pay $25,000 a year isn't very liberal. Right? But it's the C word, right? There's the one word that we used to call everyone that wasn't white, including Italians until the 1950s. Right? Or the British use it to describe a woman. Right? And so you all know what words I'm talking about. So some black woman comes up to me and gets in my face and is all angry and rude, and I say, "I hate that C woman. I hate that C word." And they said, "Oh my God, you are so racist." And I said, "I'm not a racist, I'm a misogynist." It's different. And now I apologize to those of you that are skin pigment tolerant. I'm sorry I said the R word. Please don't cancel me. All right? How many married people? Married people have married a long time. I've been married 25 years. 25 years this year, yeah. And I learned along the way that my wife has very low self-esteem and a high pain tolerance. And that's why she stays with me. But you got to kind of spice things up in a marriage, right? You got to kind of do different things. And the other day I rolled over in bed, and she's watching videos on the internet. And she says things like, "Wow, that's a big one." And that's going to get all over his face. And it's so black. I said, "Honey, we've been married 25 years. I'm open. If this is what you want to do, I'm willing to try it." And she said, "Great. Lay on your stomach and pull your pants down." Now, pro tip, you can't go from 0 to some video you watch on the internet in one session. Okay? You got to work your way up to it because someone's going to get hurt. And that someone is this guy. Okay? I walked with a limp and couldn't sit down for 2 weeks. And that's when I learned what a pimple popping kink was. I don't know what you guys were thinking. It's a pimple. It's a pimple. Relax. Any anti-vaxxers in the room? Come on. It's a safe space. Any anti-vaxxers? Woo, nobody. I'm an anti-vaxxer. I'm proud of it. Huh? Halfsies?
Yeah, like no COVID, but maybe remote.
Okay, that's fine. I'm an anti-vaxxer, but not for the reasons that you think. I'm an anti-vaxxer because I'm a Generation X parent, and I think vaccines are highly discriminatory toward us. Interesting, huh? So listen, my parents grew up in the 1930s. They were greatest generation parents, right? Think about what they grew up with. Polio, poverty, war, rusty jungle gyms. I mean, hell, drunk driving wasn't even illegal yet. It was just kind of frowned upon, right? Mothers weren't mad, they were just disappointed. And so back then, kids died, and nobody cared. You just made another one. And that's how they raised me. It was a battle for survival. Look, I know what I look like. They had to pry me out of my mother. I was big when I was born. I have the pictures. There's scars on my face. And that's nothing about my mom's virtue. That's because I had a giant head. Until I was 8 years old, every picture of me is just me leaning up against the wall. Right? They yanked me out, they pry me out, they throw me in my mom's lap, and she looks at me and she says, "Oh my God, this one is going to eat a lot." And I'm on the back foot the whole time now. My dad's out in the hallway and said, 120, he doesn't make it, 120 to 1, he doesn't make it to 18. My neighbor called me long shot. I'm fighting to survive. One of the kids up the street gets the measles, my mom would say, "Yo, Biggie, why don't you take the dumb one and go sit with Billy? He's got the measles, help him to feel better." Okay, I don't know why my mom sounded like an LA gang member from the 80s, but she did. But my sister didn't have to deal with this shit because she had skills, she could cook. So when she was 10, my dad took her aside and said, "Honey, you have a choice. You can either cook dinner every night or get the measles." And so she cooked. She had it safe, so it's me against my brother the whole time. When I was 10 years old, I wanted to ride a bike. My mom said, "There's bike parts in the garage, go make yourself a bike." And so I did, and what do you think happened? I rode that thing around the neighborhood, and I Pac-Man the front tire, hit the pavement. Right? Stumbled home crying, and my mom looks at me and she says, "Oh, it's okay, honey, it's just a little concussion." Now, maybe it was the concussion talking, but it sounded like she was disappointed. Not like, "Oh, you're gonna be better," like, "God damn it, what can we do next?" Because the bike didn't work, Joe, his head's too strong. Now, you guys are all looking at me like, what in the hell does any of this have to do with vaccines? Right? Becky, you gonna be all right? So somewhere along the way, we went from, "Oh, it's just a little concussion," to, "Oh my God, it's a concussion!" Right? And you can't tell me, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat, you can't tell me that the science on vaccines has proven that there is a better way to deal with a kid who's a jerk than smallpox. And for the first time in human history, the first time my generation, Generation X, the expectation is all of our kids should live. And I don't think it's fair. Thanks a lot, vaccines. You know how much like Ryan Day you look like? Have you been told that before? I apologize, but I'm like, man, shouldn't you be...
Is he crying?
He's crying. I think I was turning them against you, sorry. Anyways, are you ready to keep this show rolling?